What does the word cozy mean when we talk about gaming? For most, it conjures images of low-stakes activities, gentle progression, and a world that guarantees your safety. But what happens when a game adopts the entire aesthetic of cozy, the soft, watercolour art, the gentle acoustic soundtrack, the focus on relationships and growing up, but uses it to tell a story that's anything but safe? This is the central question of I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. It presents itself as a charming life sim, but underneath its beautiful surface is a complex and often heartbreaking narrative about survival, trauma, and the crushing weight of responsibility. It's a game that constantly plays with player expectations, wrapping its existential dread in a package so lovely you can't help but open it. But does this beloved indie game actually fit the cozy label? Let's get into it. Most cozy games are built for gentle repetition. The stakes are low, the process is familiar, and the joy comes from optimizing a pleasant routine. It's a relaxing, low-pressure experience by design. I Was a Teenage Exocolonist embraces the idea of replayability, but twists it into something else entirely. The game is structured around a time loop. You live your life from age 10 to 20, and then you live it again, and again. I Was a Teenage Exocolonist is a narrative-driven life sim and deck-building game where you grow up as part of humanity's first colony on an alien planet. Spending 10 years of your character's adolescence, the game blends choice-driven storytelling with card-based challenges to shape your skills, relationships, and the future. With multiple paths, endings, and the ability to carry memories across playthroughs, it's a game about growing up, shaping identity, and discovering how choices ripple through an unfamiliar world. Your character remembers everything. Every past life, every choice, and every consequence is carried over as a memory. This transforms replayability from a fresh start into a confrontation with your own history. You aren't just starting over, you're carrying ghosts with you. You remember a life where a different choice might have saved someone you cared about. Then you're 10 years old again, standing right in front of them, and they are completely oblivious to the tragedy you've already witnessed. The game forces you to live alongside them, knowing the terrible ways things can go wrong, knowing how you might have failed them before and how you could make things right this time. Whilst not always comforting, it is a familiar loop, a cycle of improving on your past and creating a history that you can be proud of. The game keeps you coming back for more to experience everything, even those most tragic moments. So it's a 2 out of 2 for replayability. Welcome to eternal childhood, where you're always going to be 10 years old, but cursed with the memory of every awkward phase you've ever endured. Player connection in many cozy games is straightforward. You give gifts, you get friendship points, and you watch a heart meter fill up. It's satisfying but rarely emotionally complex. In I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, whilst you do still level up friendships partly through gifts and talking to them, connections with other characters are amazingly deep and personal. From the start, the game gives you a wealth of options to define your identity, from pronouns to gender to your approach to relationships, allowing for polyamory and nuanced friendships. It gives you all the tools to create a character that feels authentically yours. The other characters have their own anxieties, dreams, and traumas, and relationships evolve in a messy, realistic way. You can grow with people and apart from people. Every interaction feels earned and meaningful. The consequences of your actions and inaction when it comes to friendships and relationships with the characters are profound. For instance, if you repeatedly support a friend in distress, you might find that friendship blossoms. Equally, if you're quite ambivalent to that character or you kind of struggle to vibe with them, you might notice that you're drifting apart over time. The care that you put into your relationships in this game can have a wonderful impact on the character's well-being, and equally, the neglect of these relationships can have an immense impact on their well-being. The game makes you care deeply because it gives you the freedom to love its imperfect characters in complex ways. But then it shows you exactly what it costs to lose them. You can experience the joy of a first kiss with someone you've adored for years, only for them to leave you in the end. You may lose your parents unexpectedly and suddenly, and then find yourself in the next loop trying to desperately prevent a tragedy you know is possible. That depth of feeling is a world away from simply giving a character their favourite gift and leaving it there. This game will make you cry, it will make you hurt, laugh and worry, but it will equally give you moments of peace and joy. And sometimes all these feelings feel like they're happening at once. Trust me, when you're playing this game, even after you've finished it, you still think about the characters and the choices you've made. And the impact the game has can stick with you for a long time afterwards, because it so deeply connects you to its world and its characters. So it's a 2 out of 2 for player connection. You'll forge friendships so deep you'll cry through multiple timelines. Atmospherically, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist is a master of contrast. Everything you experience at the beginning is designed to lull you into a state of calm. The world is painted in beautiful pastel gradients, filled with strange and wonderful flora, underscored by a gentle ambient soundtrack. It feels like a safe, protected and perfect place to grow up. And then the peace shatters. In an instant, the colony's fragile safety can be ripped away by external dangers or internal strife. The beautiful alien world you've come to appreciate reveals its hostile nature, and the serene atmosphere is replaced by a thrumming, ever-present anxiety. After the first disaster strikes, the world is completely changed. The beautiful quiet spots you once visited for moments of peace are now tinged with the memory of what could go wrong. You still perform cozy activities like gardening, studying and foraging in your day-to-day, but you do so with an underlying sense of tension, knowing it can all be taken away in a moment. The atmosphere becomes a blend of tranquility and terror, but the atmosphere of the game blends this so amazingly well, making you feel emotional but not necessarily overly stressed all the time. It engages you and calms you at the same time, leading to a strangely peaceful conflict between comfort and anxiety. So it's a 2 out of 2 for atmosphere. 1 minute you're foraging and the next minute you're questioning your entire survival strategy, all within the same ambient soundtrack. Hey there, just a quick pause to say that if you're enjoying the chill vibes and discovering new and unconventional cozy games, subscribe to the channel. If you wanted to support the channel a little bit more, you can also give this Slothee a coffee. And trust me, I need the energy. You can find the link in the description below. And now, back to the video. Agency in a typical cozy game is about self-expression with minimal consequence. You decide where to plant your crops or what colour to paint your house. Your safety is never in question. I Was a Teenage Exocolonist gives you agency, but the kind that carries the weight of an entire community on its shoulders. Your choices have real, lasting and often a mix of heartbreaking and wonderful consequences. Neglecting your studies to spend time with friends isn't a simple trade-off. It might mean that you lack the critical skill needed later to prevent a colony-wide disaster. The time loop mechanic makes it feel like it should be an undo button, but each new life armed with more knowledge only makes the world feel heavier, but also sweeter. You begin to see your own development, not as grinding stats, but as preparing for an unknown future. Every month you spend honing a skill, whether it's combat, biology or persuasion, directly impacts how you navigate the story's biggest challenges. You aren't just a passive observer, you are an active participant in the colony's survival. This is agency that matters, the power to influence not just your own life, but the fate of everyone you care about. The reward is seeing those small personal choices blossom into a hopefully happy, thriving community that you had a direct hand in building. Even if the outcomes are not so happy, the sense of choice in this game is immense. The choices that the game gives you mirrors the messy reality of real life, where you can only pick your next best step based on your own logic, beliefs and life experiences, with the consequences unknown to you. Typical cozy games like to present an ideal fairy tale-like life, but here this game challenges you to live life in all of its glory no matter what happens. And the choices you make will stick with you even after you've closed the game. So it's a 2 out of 2 for sense of agency. Choice matters here and sometimes it matters way too much. In I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, progression is less about building comfort and more about building resilience against inevitable hardship. The game's genius lies in its card-based challenge system. Every significant moment you've experienced, good or bad, becomes a memory. Those memories are then converted into cards you can play during events. The exhilarating memory of your first kiss might become a card that you use to pass an event. Or the gut-wrenching memory of loss and grief might be the best card to play. Or it might simply be your knowledge of your friend's strengths and weaknesses that become the best card. Progress is quite literally your accumulated trauma being turned into your greatest asset. This is an incredibly unique mechanic, but it's also a constant reminder that every advantage you gain is built on a foundation of past suffering. Comfort and strength are not given freely in this world. They are earned through heartbreak. You're not just grinding for experience points, you're grinding through your own emotional history, weaponizing your happiest and most devastating moments, just to see you through to the next year. But that is what helps you invest in the game and feel that what you do matters in every stage of your life. And it makes the progression system in this game probably the most meaningful I've experienced so far. It's about carrying forward the lessons of who you were, what you endured, and how you choose to respond. You don't progress because you leveled up a stat, you progress because you grew as a person, and the game never lets you forget that. So it's a 2 out of 2 for meaningful progression. Finally, a card mechanic where crying is a viable strategy. So to return to our question, is I Was a Teenage Exocolonist a cozy game? Well, it scores a 10 out of 10, making it one of our supreme cozy champions. If your definition of cozy requires safety, predictability, and low emotional stakes, then the answer is probably a no for this being a cozy game for you. If your definition of cozy though requires meaningful choices, deep emotional connection, and a story with incredible heart, then the answer is an unequivocal yes. This game is one of the coziest games I've encountered. It will wind you up, it will make you ache, and it will break your heart, repeatedly and without apology, but you find yourself absolutely loving the game for it and wanting to feel more. But maybe the definition of cozy can be broader than the surface level aesthetics and low stress or stakes mechanics. Maybe it isn't about the absence of stress, but about the presence of profound warmth and connection, even in the darkest times. This game is about caring fiercely and unapologetically for the characters and their world. It's about finding moments of staggering beauty in the midst of chaos, forging unbreakable bonds in the face of annihilation, and holding on to hope when all hope seems lost. It offers a different kind of comfort. The comfort of knowing that even when things are falling apart, connection is still possible, and love is still worth the risk. It's the warmest, most heartbreaking and joyful game you'll ever experience. But be prepared. This is a game that requires both your heart and your head to survive, and it will get you reflecting on the beautiful and harsh aspects of life, but I guarantee it will be an unforgettable experience. So what are your thoughts? Does this redefinition of cozy resonate with you? Is an earned peace more satisfying than one that's freely given? And is the absence of stress more important in cozy gaming than the emotional connection? And as always, thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.